Models Attract Women Through Honesty by Mark Manson. Introduction. Imagine a young man. He's standing by the wall in a crowded room, music thumping in his chest. Across the way, he sees her. She's laughing with her friends, and for a moment, her eyes meet his. His heart kicks into overdrive. His palms start to sweat. A frantic monologue begins to loop in his head. What do I say? How should I stand? Should I smile? What if she thinks I'm weird? What if she rejects me? He's running through 1,000 different strategies, a library of clever opening lines he memorized from the internet. He's trying to calculate the perfect angle of approach, the perfect witty comment, the perfect display of confidence. He's trying to perform. He takes a deep breath, puffs out his chest just a little, and walks over. He delivers his line. It comes out a bit shaky, a little too loud. She gives him a polite but distant smile. The conversation lasts for 30 seconds, maybe a minute, an awkward exchange of pleasantries that feels more like a job interview than a human connection. And then it's over. He walks away, feeling that familiar sting of rejection, wondering what he did wrong. What part of the script did he forget? He did everything he was told to do. He tried to be cool, funny, and impressive. But he missed the one thing that actually mattered. He wasn't being real. This is the exact problem that a writer named Mark Manson saw plaguing not just one young man, but millions. A generation of men were being taught that attraction was a game to be won with tactics, tricks, and manipulation. That to win a woman's affection, you had to become someone else, a character, a performer, an actor playing the role of an alpha male. And it was making them miserable. It was making them anxious, needy, and deeply inauthentic. So he wrote a book that wasn't just a rebellion against this culture of pickup artists, but a complete demolition of it. It was called Models, and it didn't just become a book, it became a quiet phenomenon, a cult classic passed from one man to another, selling hundreds of thousands of copies, largely through word of mouth. It was a lifeline for those who were tired of playing games. Manson's own story is fascinating. He started out deep within that world of strategies and tactics, but he found it hollow. He realized that the path to connecting with incredible women wasn't about learning more lines or tricks. It was about unlearning all the nonsense and becoming a more attractive person. Not acting like one, but actually being one. And that is the bold promise of the journey we're about to go on today. By the end of our time together, you will understand the fundamental shift in mindset that separates the men who desperately seek approval from the men who naturally attract it. It's a shift from seeing attraction as something you get from others to seeing it as something you radiate from within. This isn't about learning what to say, it's about becoming the man who doesn't have to worry about what to say. So find a comfortable place, quiet your mind, and let's explore the powerful and surprisingly simple philosophy of attracting women through honesty. Book summary. To truly understand the heart of this book, we must begin with a single, powerful, and deeply uncomfortable word: neediness. What is neediness? It's a word we throw around, but what does it actually mean in the context of human connection? It's not about needing help, or needing companionship, or needing a hug after a bad day. Those are fundamental human needs, the very things that bind us together. No, the neediness that Manson speaks of is a different beast entirely. It's an emotional sickness, a subtle poison that contaminates our interactions and repels the very connection we seek. He defines it with a clarity that is almost startling. Neediness is prioritizing someone else's perception of you over your own perception of yourself. Let that sink in, because it is the key that unlocks everything else. It's that feeling in your gut when you desperately want someone to laugh at your joke, not because you find it funny, but because their laughter would validate you. It's biting your tongue on an opinion you truly hold because you're afraid the person you're with might disagree. It's buying clothes you don't really like or going to places you don't enjoy, all in the hope of crafting an image that will be approved of. It's the constant low-level anxiety that asks, do they like me? Am I doing this right? Am I impressive enough? This state of mind turns every social interaction into a performance, and it turns you into an actor. And what do actors seek above all else? Applause, approval, validation. The needy person is an emotional beggar, holding out a cup and hoping for scraps of validation from others. They are saying, non-verbally, please tell me I'm okay. Please tell me I'm worthy. Please fill this emptiness inside of me. Why is this so deeply unattractive? Because it shifts a massive burden onto the other person. You are subconsciously asking them to be responsible for your self-esteem. And nobody wants that job. It's exhausting. We are drawn to people who are whole, who have their own source of validation, who are comfortable in their own skin. We are drawn to people whose cup is already full. A needy person presents an empty cup, and it creates an immediate, albeit often subconscious, desire to back away. So where does this neediness come from? It's not something we choose. It's often wired into us from a young age. We learn to seek the approval of our parents, our teachers, our peers. In our ancient past, being accepted by the tribe was a matter of life and death. Rejection meant exile and almost certain doom. So we are evolutionarily programmed to be terrified of social disapproval. But in the modern world, that wiring has gone haywire. A no from a stranger at a coffee shop can feel like a life-threatening event to our primitive brain. The opposite of neediness is what the book calls non-neediness, or security. A non-needy man still desires connection, but he does not require it for his sense of self-worth. His perception of himself is his anchor. He says what he believes, does what he enjoys, and lives by his own values, not because he's trying to impress anyone, but because that is who he is. His happiness is generated internally. He is looking for someone to share his already wonderful world with, not someone to build his world for him. This is the essence of true confidence, and it is magnetic. This brings us to the great challenge. How do we defeat this deeply ingrained neediness? You can't just wake up one day and decide to be non-needy. It's a fear-based instinct, and the only way to conquer fear is to walk directly into it. This is where the book introduces its radical cure, the single most powerful medicine for the sickness of neediness. That medicine is vulnerability. Now, this word comes with a lot of baggage. We've been taught that vulnerability is weakness, that to be a man is to be stoic, impenetrable, an emotional fortress. Manson argues that this is a catastrophic misunderstanding. True vulnerability is not weakness, it is the highest form of courage. In this context, vulnerability is the act of willingly expressing your authentic self and your true intentions without any guarantee of a positive outcome. It's the conscious choice to expose yourself to the possibility of failure and rejection. Let's make this real. Imagine our young man from the beginning. His needy brain is screaming at him to find the perfect line. His non-needy, vulnerable self would have a different approach. He would accept the fear in his chest, walk over, make eye contact, and say something simple and honest like, "Excuse me, I know this is totally random, but I just saw you from over there, and I think you have a wonderful smile. I'd be kicking myself all day if I didn't come and say hi. I'm Mark." Let's break down what just happened. He stated his intention honestly. I wanted to say hi. He expressed his authentic thought. You have a wonderful smile. He exposed himself to immediate rejection. He didn't use a trick or a line. He was just a human being real. This act is terrifying because the outcome is uncertain. She might smile and be charmed. Or she might say, "Sorry, I have a boyfriend," or simply, "I'm not interested." But here is the profound, life-altering paradox. The willingness to accept that rejection is the very thing that makes the approach attractive. It communicates on a deep, subconscious level, my self-worth is not on the line here. I am secure enough in myself to state my interest, and I will be okay no matter what your response is. It is a perfect demonstration of non-neediness. You are proving, through your actions, that you value your own perception of yourself as a courageous, honest person more than you value her perception of you. You chose self-respect over the need for approval. Every time you choose vulnerability over safety, you are building your non-needy muscle. You are rewiring your brain to understand that rejection is not a threat to your survival, it's just information. This philosophical core, overcoming neediness through vulnerability, is the engine that drives the entire book. From it, Manson builds a practical and actionable framework for becoming a more attractive man. He calls this framework the 3 fundamentals: honest living, honest action, and honest communication. These aren't just steps, they are layers of a fully integrated life. Let's begin with the foundation, the very ground upon which everything else must be built: honest living. Before you ever worry about what to say to a woman, before you download a dating app or plan a night out, the book demands that you turn your focus inward and ask a difficult question. Are you living a life that you yourself are proud of? Are you building a man that you yourself would admire and respect? Because here is the unshakable truth. Attraction is a byproduct of a life well lived. You cannot fake genuine passion. You cannot fake self-respect. You cannot fake a life filled with purpose. Trying to do so is like painting a picture of a fire and hoping it will keep you warm. You need the real thing. Honest living is the process of building that fire. It's about becoming the source of your own value. This means a radical shift in investment. Instead of investing all your energy into figuring out how to get women, you invest that energy into yourself. The book breaks this down into several crucial domains. First, let's talk about lifestyle and passions. What do you do with the 168 hours you were given each week? A man whose life consists only of work, video games, and passively consuming content has very little to offer. His world is small. He is, by default, looking for a woman to become his world, to be his source of excitement and adventure. This is the essence of neediness. The alternative is to actively cultivate a rich, interesting life. This means exploring your curiosities. What have you always wanted to learn, to do, to create? Learn to play the guitar. Take a class on salsa dancing. Join a rock climbing gym. Learn to cook amazing Italian food. Start a side project building websites. Volunteer at a local charity. The specific activity does not matter. What matters is the passion. When you are genuinely engaged in something you love, you come alive. You have stories to tell. You have a source of energy that is independent of anyone else. You become a more interesting, dynamic, and layered human being. You are no longer inviting a woman into an empty apartment. You are inviting her into a vibrant, thriving ecosystem that is your life. That is an invitation that is compelling and attractive. Next is the domain of self-care, which covers your physical and mental well-being. This is often misunderstood as pure vanity, about trying to look like a fitness model to attract women. But its true importance is far deeper. Taking care of your body, through exercise, healthy nutrition, and proper sleep, is a fundamental act of self-respect. It is a daily declaration that you matter. When you are physically strong and healthy, you have more energy. Your posture improves. Your brain functions better. You feel more confident in your own skin. This radiates outward. Grooming and style fall under this category. Dressing well isn't about wearing expensive, flashy brands. It's about intentionality. It's about presenting the best version of yourself to the world. It's choosing clothes that fit you well, that reflect your personality, and that show you put thought into your appearance. It's the difference between a man who respects himself and a man who has given up. This isn't for others, it's for you. When you look in the mirror and like the man you see, you carry yourself differently. Your interactions with everyone, not just women, will improve. Finally, honest living encompasses your ambition and career. Again, this is not about being a millionaire. It's about having direction and agency. Are you a passive victim of your circumstances, complaining about your job but doing nothing to change it? Or are you an active agent, taking ownership of your path? The man who is working towards something, getting a degree, mastering a trade, building a business, striving for a promotion, is demonstrating competence, responsibility, and purpose. He is a man who can handle his life. This creates a sense of stability and security that is deeply attractive. He is the captain of his own ship, steering it with intention rather than a passenger being tossed about by the waves. When you put these pieces together, you begin to see the picture. Honest living is the 80% of the work that happens before you even speak to a woman. It's the slow, steady, and deeply rewarding process of becoming a high-value man. And value, in this sense, means a man rich in experiences, passions, self-respect, and purpose. Once that foundation is in place, the next two pillars become infinitely easier. So, you've been building your foundation. Your life is becoming more interesting. You're feeling better about yourself. Now it's time to build the house. This brings us to the second pillar, honest action. Honest action is about bridging the gap between your inner world and the outer world. It is the practical application of vulnerability. It is the courage to approach, to initiate, to express interest, and to risk rejection. For most men, this is where the rubber meets the road and where the tires screech to a halt. The fear of rejection can be paralyzing. Our brain interprets it as a profound threat. So we make excuses. She's probably busy. She's out of my league. Now's not the right time. These are all just stories our fear tells us to keep us safe in our comfort zone. To overcome this, Manson introduces one of the most liberating concepts in the entire book, the idea of demographics. Think about it like this. A company that makes heavy-duty pickup trucks doesn't get upset when a city-dwelling poet doesn't want to buy one. They don't take it personally. They understand that the poet is simply not in their target demographic. It's not a failure of the truck, it's a mismatch of needs and desires. Dating works the exact same way. No matter how handsome, charismatic, wealthy, or funny you are, you will only be truly compatible with a tiny fraction of the women you meet. Some women prefer tall men, some prefer short men. Some love the artistic type, others want an engineer. Some are happily in relationships. Some just had their heart broken and aren't open to meeting anyone. Some are having a terrible day and just want to be left alone. The vast majority of rejections you will ever receive have absolutely nothing to do with you or your worth. You are simply not in her demographic at that specific moment in time. Once you truly, deeply internalize this idea, rejection is transformed. It ceases to be a painful verdict on your value as a human being. It becomes a simple sorting mechanism. It's data. You are not seeking to win over every woman. You are courageously and efficiently filtering for the small percentage of women who are a genuine, enthusiastic match for you. Every no is not a failure. It is a successful step in the filtering process, bringing you closer to a yes that is real and meaningful. This mindset fuels honest action. The goal of an approach is no longer to get a number or a date. That's outcome dependent and creates pressure. The new goal is simply to express your authentic interest and see what happens. You are making a courageous offer. That's it. You control the action, not the outcome. This leads us to the final, crucial pillar, the one that ties everything together: honest communication. If honest living is your foundation and honest action is your vehicle, then honest communication is how you steer. It's the substance of your interactions. The world of conventional dating advice is obsessed with tactics. It gives you clever lines, push-pull routines, and manipulative scripts designed to create a facade of confidence. This is the very definition of neediness. You are hiding your true self and your true intentions, hoping that your performance is good enough. Honest communication is the demolition of that entire philosophy. It's about expressing who you are and what you want directly and authentically. This is built on a few key principles. The first is the principle of being polarizing. A non-needy man is not afraid to have opinions, a unique sense of humor, and personal standards. He doesn't agree with everything she says just to be liked. He is willing to state his truth, even if it means she might not like it. Why? Because he is filtering. Imagine a conversation about music. The needy man asks, "What kind of music do you like?" She says she loves pop music. Even if he hates pop music, he'll say, "Oh, cool, me too." He has avoided conflict, but he has also created a fake, boring connection. The honest, polarizing man might say, "I've never been able to get into pop. I find it a bit repetitive. I'm much more of a classic rock guy myself. What is it about pop that you love?" He has stated his honest preference, created a point of interesting discussion, and shown that he isn't afraid to be himself. This will repel women who want a man who agrees with everything, and it will powerfully attract women who are drawn to a man with his own mind and his own passions. Honesty is the ultimate filter. The second principle of honest communication is stating your intent. This is the cure for the infamous friend zone. Men usually end up in the friend zone because they are dishonest about their intentions. They are attracted to a woman, but they are too afraid of rejection to admit it. So they pretend to just want to be her friend, orbiting her and hoping she'll one day magically read their mind. This is not only dishonest, it's also deeply unattractive because it reeks of fear. The honest communicator makes his intentions known. This doesn't have to be crude or aggressive. It can be done with charm and confidence. It's the difference between saying, "We should hang out sometime," and saying, "I'm really enjoying this conversation. I'd love to take you on a proper date this week." The first is ambiguous. The second is clear, direct, vulnerable, and confident. It puts the cards on the table and respects her enough to let her make an informed decision. Finally, honest communication redefines flirting. Flirting is not a set of memorized lines. It's an emotional language. It's the art of creating a fun, playful, and sexually charged atmosphere. This is done by being willing to tease, to challenge, and to break rapport in a light-hearted way. It's about communicating through strong eye contact and being comfortable with calibrated, respectful physical touch. It's a dance of authentic personalities, not a script being recited. When you weave these three fundamentals together, honest living, honest action, and honest communication, a profound shift occurs. You stop seeing dating as a game to be won and start seeing it as an expression of who you are. The focus moves from external validation to internal growth. The goal is no longer to get the girl. The goal is to become the man who lives such a fulfilling life that rejection becomes insignificant. The goal is to build a life you love and then courageously and honestly invite women to be a part of it. The process of becoming more attractive becomes indistinguishable from the process of becoming a better, more authentic, and more complete human being. And that is the beautiful irony at the heart of it all. When you finally build a life where you don't need a woman to be happy and validated, when your self-worth is unshakable and comes from within, that is the precise moment you become the most attractive man you can possibly be. You become a model, not a supermodel, but a model of a secure, confident, and honest man. A man who attracts others not through performance, but through the simple, powerful act of being himself. Commentary. As we let these ideas settle, it's worth taking a step back and asking, why does this message resonate so deeply with so many people? Why has this book, Models, endured and become such an important guide? I believe it's because it speaks to a fundamental truth that we often forget in our modern world. Genuine connection cannot be hacked. It cannot be manufactured with clever tactics or superficial performances. It can only grow from a place of authenticity. In an age of social media, where we are all encouraged to present a perfect, curated version of our lives, Manson's message is more relevant than ever. He is calling us to drop the masks. He is reminding us that our flaws, our quirks, and our willingness to be vulnerable are not weaknesses to be hidden, but are in fact the very things that make us human, relatable, and ultimately attractive. The most powerful lesson in this book isn't about dating at all. It's about self-worth. It teaches that your value as a person is not determined by who finds you attractive. It is not something that is given to you by others. It is something you must build, cultivate, and protect for yourself. The journey to becoming more attractive to women is, in fact, the journey of becoming a better man, a man of integrity, passion, and courage. This philosophy is liberating. It frees you from the crippling anxiety of seeking approval. It gives you permission to be yourself, knowing that you won't be for everyone, and that's perfectly okay. The goal is not to be universally liked. The goal is to be deeply respected by the few who truly matter, starting with the man in the mirror. So, how can you begin to apply these powerful principles in your own life, starting today? It can feel overwhelming, but it starts with small, simple actions. First, invest in you. Choose one small area of your life this week for self-investment. It could be dedicating 30 minutes to reading a book instead of scrolling on your phone. It could be trying that new workout class you've been nervous about. It could be picking up an old hobby you let slide. Take one action that is purely for your growth and enjoyment. This is the first step in honest living. Second, practice micro-vulnerability. You don't have to go from 0 to 100. Find a small opportunity to be more honest. It could be telling a friend your real opinion on a movie instead of just agreeing with them. It could be admitting you don't know something instead of pretending you do. These small acts of courage build the muscle of vulnerability, making the bigger leaps feel less daunting. And finally, become an observer of your own neediness. For one day, just pay attention to your thoughts and behaviors. Notice when you find yourself changing your words or actions to gain someone's approval. Don't judge it, just observe it. Awareness is the first step to change. Recognizing the pattern is how you begin to break it. That was a deep dive into the core ideas of Models by Mark Manson. We've journeyed through the concepts of neediness, vulnerability, and the 3 pillars of an attractive life. But I'll be honest with you, a summary, no matter how detailed, can only ever be a map. The real adventure, the real transformation, happens when you decide to walk the path yourself. There are stories, nuances, and specific examples in the book that can provide those aha moments that a summary can only hint at. This journey we've taken is to show you what's possible. If any of these ideas have sparked something within you, I wholeheartedly encourage you to pick up a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning, it's about fundamentally changing the way you see yourself, your life, and your connections with others. The link to the book is in the description below. Also, if you found this journey valuable and it gave you a new perspective, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to Billionaire's Bookshelf. It helps us reach more people who are looking to grow, and it ensures you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book. Let's keep building better lives, one book at a time.